Hey there, and welcome back to Elderly Health Tips, the place where we bring you real, practical insights to help you live stronger, longer, and better. Today's video? Well, it starts with a bold claim. Japanese oldest doctor, just eat these every day and you will live to 100. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really? Just by eating a few foods? Believe me, I had the same reaction at first. But here's the twist. This isn't some internet myth or quick fix trend. It's based on the life and teachings of Dr. Shigeki Hinohara, a real-life doctor in Japan who lived to 105 and was still seeing patients into his hundreds. He didn't rely on supplements. He didn't follow strict calorie counting routines. What he did do was far more powerful and surprisingly simple. But before we dive in, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button, share this with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you science-based, life-changing tips, just like this one. Ready to discover the secrets that helped a 105-year-old doctor outlive entire generations? Let's get started. Let's start with the number one principle. Hara Hachi Bu. Eat until you're 80% full. When I first heard the phrase, Hara Hachi Bu, I was in my early 60s. As a physician who had spent decades treating aging adults, I was skeptical. Eat until you're only 80% full? It sounded too simple, almost like a folk remedy. But then I saw the data. And the more I learned, the more I realized. This principle might just be one of the most powerful longevity tools we have. In Okinawa, Japan, a place known for having one of the highest rates of centenarians in the world, people live by this quiet rule. Stop eating when you feel just 80% satisfied. Not stuffed, not full, just enough. They even have a word for it, Hara Hachi Bu, and they've been practicing it for generations. But here's the surprising part. The science backs it up. The National Institute on Aging has long studied calorie restriction and its effects on aging. In controlled studies, reducing calorie intake by just 10 to 20% without malnutrition led to measurable benefits. Lower markers of chronic inflammation, reduced levels of oxidative stress, better blood sugar control, improved insulin sensitivity, and even slower cellular aging. In a 2019 study published in Cell Metabolism, researchers followed adults who cut their daily calorie intake by 12% over 2 years. The results? Participants showed reduced metabolic risk, lower blood pressure, improved cholesterol levels, and, most importantly, signs of a slower biological aging rate. Now, here's what really caught my attention. They didn't crash diet. They didn't starve. They simply ate a little less consistently. So what does this look like in real life? Let me tell you about myself. My name is Dr. Robert Granger. I'm 71 years old. I've practiced internal medicine for over 40 years, and I used to follow the old school rule. Finish everything on your plate. I grew up in Texas. Meatloaf, mac and cheese, big portions, no leftovers. But in my mid-60s, I started noticing changes: sluggish digestion, afternoon brain fog, heavier sleep. My weight, even though stable, didn't feel right on my knees. That's when I started trying the Okinawan principle. Instead of eating until full, I began listening to my body. I slowed down. I chewed more. I put my fork down between bites. And here's the trick I use. When I feel about 3/4 satisfied, I pause. I ask myself, am I still truly hungry or just finishing out of habit? The results? Remarkable. More energy, lighter sleep, less bloating, and surprisingly, more joy. I began savoring food instead of devouring it. And I wasn't alone. My patients started noticing it too. What exactly is 80% full? That's not a scientific measurement. It's awareness. It's that moment when you say, I could eat more, but I don't need to. It's tuning into your body before it sends that urgent, I'm full signal. Here are a few signs that you're approaching 80%. You feel satisfied, but not stuffed. You could go for a walk after the meal, not crash on the couch. You still feel light in your midsection, not tight or distended. You're not breathing heavily or feeling sluggish. Here's a trick I teach my patients. At your next meal, slow down. Use a smaller plate. Put your fork down every few bites. And when you start to feel content, pause. Wait 5 minutes. That's when your satiety signals catch up. And that's where the magic happens. Because digestion is not just about food. It's about how much and how you feel when you're eating it. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever eaten past the point of fullness just because it tasted good? Or out of habit? Next, let's move on to number 2. Add plant-based protein from soy and legumes. For most of my life as a physician, I believed that protein meant meat. Like many Americans, I associated strength, muscle, and recovery with things like steak, chicken, and eggs. But the more I studied longevity in older populations, especially in Okinawa, the more I realized we've been looking in the wrong direction. In Okinawa, protein comes from plants, more specifically from soybeans and other legumes. These foods aren't exotic there. They're daily staples. Tofu, edamame, miso, natto. Simple, affordable, powerful. And science agrees. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular soy intake in older adults was linked to lower LDL cholesterol, improved bone density, and reduced cognitive decline. That's not just theory, that's hard data. Why does this happen? Because soy contains isoflavones, natural plant compounds that mimic estrogen in a gentle, balancing way. These compounds reduce inflammation, support blood vessels, and help maintain bone mass in postmenopausal women and aging men alike. In fact, a 2021 meta-analysis from the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging showed that older adults who consumed legumes regularly had up to 25% lower risk of frailty over a 10-year period. That's huge. Frailty isn't just weakness, it's a predictor of falls, fractures, even hospitalization. Now, I know what many Americans are thinking. Isn't soy full of estrogen? Isn't it bad for men? The short answer? No, not in the way you think. Multiple reviews, including one from Harvard School of Public Health, have confirmed that soy foods do not feminize men or alter testosterone levels in any meaningful way. That's a myth. In fact, they may even protect the prostate due to their anti-inflammatory properties. Let's take an example. Frank, a 73-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio, came to me worried about joint pain and rising cholesterol. He was skeptical of soy too, but I challenged him. Try replacing red meat with tofu or lentils just twice a week. That's all. 3 months later, his LDL dropped by 15%. His joint pain eased, and his energy returned. He told me, "Doc, I never thought a bean could beat a burger, but I feel younger." Now let's shift gears a little. Why are legumes, like lentils, chickpeas, and black beans, so powerful for aging bodies? First, they're loaded with prebiotic fiber, the kind that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. A healthier gut means stronger immunity, better absorption of nutrients, and even improved mood due to the gut-brain axis. Second, plant proteins come with zero cholesterol and much less saturated fat compared to animal protein. That's a win for your heart. And third, legumes have a low glycemic index. That means they won't spike your blood sugar, something critical for seniors managing diabetes or metabolic syndrome. I like to say, Beans don't just build muscle. They build resilience. So how do you know if you're getting enough plant protein? Here are some simple signs. You feel tired even after eating a full meal. You recover slower after physical activity. You're losing muscle but gaining belly fat. You have irregular digestion or constipation. Sound familiar? Then maybe it's time to try a plant-based swap. Start small. A bowl of lentil soup, a tofu stir-fry, miso in warm water. You don't have to give up meat entirely. Just make room for balance. Coming in at number 3, eat fermented foods daily. I never imagined that something as simple as fermented food could change my health in my 70s. But it did. And I've seen it transform the lives of my patients too. You see, in Japan, especially in Okinawa, people begin their day with a bowl of warm miso soup. It's not just tradition, it's a daily dose of healing. And for aging adults, it might just be one of the most overlooked tools for better digestion, brain health, and immunity. Let's take a look at the science. A 2020 study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that adults over 65 who consumed fermented foods regularly, things like yogurt, kimchi, and miso, had higher levels of cognitive performance and lower rates of inflammation-related memory decline. Why? Because fermented foods are rich in natural probiotics, live beneficial bacteria that support your gut microbiome. And as we age, our gut becomes more sensitive. Antibiotics, stress, medications, they all throw it off balance. Probiotics help restore that balance, and not just for digestion. In fact, the gut is deeply connected to the brain. This is called the gut-brain axis. When your gut is healthy, your mood stabilizes, your thinking clears up, your sleep improves. All of this matters even more as we get older. Let's pause and ask, why is real fermented food more effective than a probiotic pill? Because fermented foods offer synergy, the combination of natural enzymes, fiber, and live cultures all working together. Pills isolate a few strains, but food contains dozens, often in better balance, and they arrive in the form your body understands. In a 2021 study published in Nutrients, researchers found that participants who consumed fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and pickles had stronger immune markers, better blood sugar control, and lower C-reactive protein, CRP, a major inflammation signal in the body. And here's what struck me as a doctor. These effects were seen even with just small daily servings. So what are some signs that your body may be missing fermented foods? You feel bloated or sluggish after eating. You have irregular or slow digestion. You get frequent colds or seasonal infections. You feel foggy, tired, or have low mood despite sleeping enough. Sound familiar? Then it may be time to rethink what you put in your gut. Not just how much you eat, but what's alive in your food. And you don't need to live in Japan or make your own miso to do this. Here are a few easy places to start. A spoonful of sauerkraut or kimchi with lunch. A cup of unsweetened kefir as an afternoon snack. A few slices of naturally fermented pickles with dinner. Or that gentle bowl of miso soup in the morning, just like the Okinawans do. When's the last time you ate something truly alive, not just processed and reheated? Now let's head to number 4. Don't fear carbs. Just choose good ones like Japanese purple sweet potatoes. As a doctor who's spent decades treating adults over 60, I can tell you one of the biggest nutrition myths out there. Carbs are the enemy. Let's be honest, for years, low-carb diets have dominated the conversation. Atkins, keto, paleo. Seniors hear it from every direction. Cut carbs to lose weight, cut carbs to control sugar, avoid starch at all costs. But here's what they don't tell you. Not all carbs are created equal, and some, like Japanese purple sweet potatoes, may be the reason why so many Okinawans live well into their 90s and hundreds. In Okinawa, purple sweet potatoes make up over 60% of the traditional daily diet. That's not a typo, 60%. And yet, rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease remain among the lowest in the developed world. So what makes these purple potatoes so special? First, they're packed with anthocyanins, a powerful antioxidant responsible for their vibrant color. These compounds fight inflammation, protect blood vessels, and have been shown to support cognitive function in aging adults. In fact, a 2017 study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that diets rich in anthocyanin-containing foods, like purple sweet potatoes and berries, were associated with slower brain aging and reduced risk of dementia. Second, they have a low glycemic index. That means they don't spike your blood sugar like refined carbs or white bread. For seniors managing diabetes or prediabetes, that's critical. In a 2020 review in Nutrients, researchers concluded that sweet potatoes, especially purple-fleshed ones, improved insulin sensitivity, helped control fasting blood glucose, and reduced oxidative stress markers in older adults. Take Paul, a 69-year-old retired mechanic from Kansas. He had been pre-diabetic for years. His doctor kept pushing carb restriction. He was eating meat and salad 3 times a day and still feeling sluggish. I told him, "Try adding purple sweet potato at lunch 3 times a week, just steamed." 3 weeks later, Paul called me and said, "Doc, I haven't had this kind of energy since I was 50. So what's going on here?" The body, especially the aging body, needs complex, fiber-rich carbohydrates to fuel the brain, stabilize mood, and support gut health. When we remove all carbs, we often remove the very nutrients that keep us strong and balanced. Japanese sweet potatoes offer vitamin C for immune function, potassium for blood pressure regulation, soluble fiber for digestive health, and those powerful anthocyanins that guard the brain. Here are some signs you might benefit from better carbs: fatigue after meals, even when eating light, constant sugar cravings, irritability or brain fog in the afternoon, constipation or irregular bowel habits. Sound familiar? Then maybe it's time to rethink the carb fear mentality. And finally, number 5. Live simply, with joy and consistent daily habits. Dr. Shigeki Hinohara, the Japanese physician who lived to 105, never followed a strict diet. He didn't count calories. He didn't obsess over macros. Instead, he lived lightly and purposefully. He ate simply, walked every morning, read often, climbed stairs, and kept teaching into his hundreds. And the science? It's finally catching up. A 2021 study from the Journal of Aging and Health found that older adults who engaged in daily routines, creative hobbies, and meaningful social interaction had lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and better immune function, regardless of their diet. Even more compelling, research published in JAMA Psychiatry revealed that seniors with a consistent daily rhythm, waking up, eating, moving, and sleeping on a regular schedule, had a 33% lower risk of developing cognitive decline or depression. Let me be clear. I'm not saying food doesn't matter. It does. But food is only one part of the equation. The how you live, the rhythm of your days, the joy in small things, the spark of curiosity. That's what truly sustains longevity. Marie, a 74-year-old widow from Pennsylvania, had been obsessed with staying on plan. She counted every calorie, tracked every carb, avoided sugar like poison. And yet, she was constantly anxious. Her weight fluctuated. Her energy was erratic. One day, I suggested something radical. "Let's stop tracking for 2 weeks," I said. "Instead, walk every morning, eat slowly, and once a day, do something that makes you laugh." 2 weeks later, Marie looked lighter, emotionally and physically. Her digestion improved, her headaches stopped, and she said something that stuck with me. I stopped fighting my body and started listening to it. So how do you know when your life is out of rhythm? Here are some signs. You wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. You feel stressed during meals, always thinking about what you should or shouldn't eat. You lose track of time, not because you're busy, but because your days feel monotonous. You go hours without sunlight, movement, or real connection. Sound familiar? Then maybe it's not your food that needs adjusting. It's your flow. So, what did we learn from Japan's oldest doctor? It's not about perfection. It's not about counting every calorie or living on supplements. It's about the small daily choices, eating just a little less, choosing clean, colorful foods, keeping your body moving and your spirit curious. Dr. Hinohara didn't just live a long life, he lived it with purpose, joy, and balance. And now, it's your turn. Which of these 5 habits are you ready to try? Will you pause at 80% full, add miso to your mornings, swap steak for tofu just once a week? Let us know in the comments below, because your story might inspire someone else watching today. And if this video gave you even one idea, one shift, one spark of motivation, don't forget to like this video, share it with a loved one, and subscribe to Elderly Health Tips for more science-backed ways to stay strong, sharp, and independent, no matter your age. You don't need to do everything all at once. Just start with one change, one habit, one moment of awareness. You've got this, and we're here to walk this journey with you, one step at a time. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.